Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Brew live on Brew Sports. We hope your Thursday is going well. We know that it's a chilly one out there, but we look forward to getting into the sports world here as we get ready to roll on with our first show on Brew Sports this morning. I welcome you inside the studio. I am Baxter Colburn. That wonderful person to my left is Jaymee Evers. Jaymee, how are we doing today? Are you warm enough yet, or is it still too darn cold outside?
It's a little cold for me. But still no mittens.
Still no
just
mittens,
a scarf.
Just a scarf. You haven't broke out the mittens yet,
I
thankfully. Yeah, we had this debate a couple of days ago, too, about mittens versus gloves. And you're just like, just wear a scarf and man up and put your hands in your pocket. Like,
yeah.
What? I like my hands to be warm. But as you know, my hands are always freezing, basically, no matter what it is. I'm not a cold-hearted person. It's just, I don't know if it's bad circulation or what the deal is, honestly. But my right hand, more so than any other hand. Not that I have multiple hands, but I do. But anyway, my right hand is always colder than my left hand for some reason, which is strange because I'm a right-handed person, so I use my right hand the most. But I don't know. That's the world I'm in this morning, Jaymee. So your move.
My hands are equally as chilled.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So no, it's not one hand is not more entitled than the other.
I get really cold, like under my arms.
Under your arms?
Like from here to here.
That's kind of strange.
I'm like always cold. You always see me like do this. I don't know. I'm cold.
I do. That is correct. Yeah, that is. If there's one thing that you do a lot, you're always doing the this thing or the pull the sleeve thing.
Yeah.
You're always just like, ooh, I'm cold.
Yeah, my arms get cold.
It is. It's all good. All right, folks. Well, we've got a good show in store for you today. A couple of different great things to get to in the sports world. We say good morning to all of you wonderful folks that are tuning in as we are getting this boat shoved off from shore as we're ready to go on this grand adventure on this Thursday morning. Good morning to Brew, who's chiming in. Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Hannah. All of you wonderful people that are tuning in as well. Time to get to our What's Brewing segment. Miss Evers, what is brewing right off the bat this hot morning?
The first thing I think maybe we should talk about is Tony Romo's $64 bonus this year.
Hey, man. Got to make that money.
You get a lot of $64.
That man, Tony Romo. Good morning, Liz. Hello, chiming in. Yes, Tony Romo, for those of you that were following him last year, got hurt, of course, in the preseason. And then the rookie, Dak Prescott, emerged from the depths. All Cowboy fans thought their season was lost. And then the young man named Dak rose up and took the NFL by storm.
This is intense.
Yes.
Keep going.
And then they promptly lost to the Packers. Good on you. Good on you, Cowboys. But anyway, why do we care that Romo got $64? Is that all he's worth to the Cowboys now? It's like, Romo will sign you to a 5-year $64 deal.
$64.11. No, I think we care because Dak left making an extra $354,000, and Tony Romo made $64.
Yes. Well, the reason he made $64 is because Tony Romo got paid for the one drive that he was a part of for the 2016 season. So it's good to know that an NFL quarterback can make $64 per drive.
Makes me feel a little bit better. I've made more than $64 in a shift at work before.
Yeah, but I mean, one drive though can sometimes be as short as 30 seconds or as long as.
Well, sometimes it takes me not very long to make a cocktail.
But you're not getting paid.
Well, yeah, but then if they tip me $64,
does that happen often? You get a lot of $64 tips?
No, but sometimes I have some cool stories.
I bet. No, I'm not doubting that you don't have cool stories. I find it a little funny that you're man, like.
Well, he made $64 once. I made $64 once,
Tony
too.
Romo is also
We are equals. We're not equals.
You're not equals. It's like Tony Romo is also getting, millions of dollars.
Yeah. Whatever.
It is. But it's kind of funny, though, that people report about this. I mean, hey, he finished the drive. He led the Cowboys to 7 points on that drive. He went 3 for 4 with passing, 29 yards, and he threw a touchdown. So, I mean, now we know the value of a touchdown to the Cowboys is $64.11. So. Way to go.
I was watching his, I don't know what it was. It was on Twitter, a little video of him. And he's starting with his head down, and then he comes up, and he just looks like a sad little puppy.
He is. I mean, and you're talking about the video of him, saying that he's not coming back to Dallas.
Yeah.
I have heard no more rumors. I don't know where he's planning to go. We've had this conversation before. Will it be Denver? Will it be Houston? I've heard that, Jerry Jones, the Cowboys owner, almost doesn't want it to be Houston because, you don't want your neighbor potentially taking one of your best players
Right.
to go and play for your team, even though Houston now needs a quarterback after that whole Brock Osweiler hot mess conundrum that was last week. So I don't necessarily know what you're going to do with Tony Romo. I think we'll continue to keep monitoring him. He's kind of in that same situation as Jay Cutler, where he has a family, and you don't necessarily just want to uproot them at 30, whatever he is now, 34, 35, something like that. I mean, just uprooting him and moving him across the country or wherever else they might go. I don't necessarily know if it's worth it at this point. He's made tons of money. Why do you need to continue to keep playing if you want to just keep your body in good shape?
Right, and no one's making an effort to add him to their roster, so maybe it's time to just go home.
Yes, yep, exactly. Liz makes a great point here on Facebook. She says he makes $64 in 30 seconds, and we are pushing to move up minimum wage above $8. Crazy. It is. Welcome to the NFL. I mean, like the minimum wage for an NFL player is $500,000. If you didn't know, that's like where you never play, you never see the field, you don't do a single thing, but you're still on an NFL roster of the 53-man roster. You are guaranteed to make a minimum of $500,000.
Huh.
$500,000.
It's a nice little
Minimum wage.
That's nice.
Yeah. I mean, you think about CEOs of billion-dollar companies that maybe make $300,000 to $500,000, and they actually work.
Yeah, I'll take it.
While NFL players, to an extent, it's always the joke, the backup punter makes more money than I ever will in my career. It's welcome to the NFL.
Should have had a better foot.
It's $9 billion industry or something like that, I think is what the NFL made last year, something stupid like that.
Wow.
And it's a non-profit organization, too, if you didn't know. Mm-hmm. Exactly. You don't see Goodwill raking in $9 billion. They're a non-profit. Good Lord. I think they are, at least.
You think people that say that they want to work for nonprofits look into working for the NFL?
That's a good thing. So yeah, I feel like that's when people are like, I'd like to work in nonprofit, be like, well, good, go work for the NFL.
Yeah, because they're always like, I want to work at animal shelters and
if you like
resale stores.
If you like living in poverty and
I'll work for the NFL.
8th used clothes, don't do that. Yeah, Brew says, whoa, yeah, let's all get that job. Yes, let's all go get that job, Brew, because I mean. I feel I'm very comfortable in my job, but if I could make $500,000 to do nothing virtually, I mean, obviously I'm not playing in games, but I'm still working and training and all that fun business. I like that. Randall's making fun of you too. He said, should have had a better foot, LOL. Get it, Randall. Jamie's in a mood this morning, so we got to keep her honest this morning. I appreciate that, Randall. Let's see. What else is brewing this morning? Do you like potatoes, by the way?
I love mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love them.
Well, for those that love potatoes, I love a good mashed potato too. Baked potatoes. It really, for me, depends on the potato. That sounds really strange, but the straight up white potatoes, I'm eh.
Like an Idaho potato.
Yeah, it's got to be an Idaho Gold or whatever those are. Love those potatoes. You can give me those potatoes.
Like a normal potato.
Well, no, they almost have that yellow tint on the inside. I don't know if you've seen those or not. But they've got the straight white potatoes. Yes, great, love them. They're a little bleachy, a little starchy for me. But there's I think it's Idaho Gold or something like that is what they're called. Anyway, if you love potatoes as much as Jamie and I do, you might appreciate this next story. Dirk Nowitzki got a celebratory, personalized potato in the mail the other day. And usually when you see that you get a potato in the mail, the first thing I would be thinking of is, what the heck is this? Why am I getting a potato? But there's actually this company that specializes in personalized potatoes. They went on Shark Tank, and they got funding to have their business called Potato Parcel. It's 100% true. They came on the show asking for $50,000 for 10% of their company, which Mr. Wonderful ultimately ended up doing. And people actually thought they were stupid, but they literally have this business where that you send people just a little potato parcel. You're the cutest potato. Come on, that's adorable. That's adorable. What would you say if you just randomly got a potato in the mail?
I mean, I love potatoes, so I'd probably be okay with it. They don't last very long. I honestly cannot believe that this is a company.
They do exceptionally well too. That's the hard part about this.
Well, they have advertising. I mean, I've seen advertisements for them before on Facebook and whatever.
I had never heard of these guys before.
Oh, really?
No. The fact that and they were literally openly mocked, and they were no way, you guys are completely dumb. And then they started talking about their profit margins and everything, and they were oh, okay, like, sure. You guys obviously are making money, which is just funny. I mean, there's so many different services out there that you can get nowadays. Like,
what do you think they do? Is it just like a stencil on there? Do you think they like chisel it away?
I don't know.
Can you eat it afterwards? Because that's what I would want to do. Like if someone's gonna give me a potato, like I'm gonna make it into some mashed
Jamie's always
potatoes.
got food on the mind.
I love mashed potatoes. They're literally my favorite food.
Well, that looked like it was like a Sharpie. So if I'm writing it on anything with a Sharpie, I don't think I'm going to be able to chew on it and enjoy it later.
Peel off the skin, boil that
But
sucker.
will that have seeped into the potato though? At that point,
I got a stomach of a ox.
stomach of an ox.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'll eat the
Heather
Sharpie.
says apparently you'd just rather prefer glitter bombs.
Yeah, because
What is this?
one day I'm sitting at work and I got mail and I was super excited because I never get
got
mail at
mail.
work, and if I do, it's just donation requests, which are fine. But like this was to me, and it was a little tube, and I was like, ooh, did I order myself something and I forgot? No, I'm sitting at my desk by myself and I open this container, which I opened like an idiot. So I took there was like tape on it to be like unsealed, and then you pull the cover off, right?
Yep.
Instead, I took my letter opener and I like pried these like industrial staples out of the side.
Oh, jeepers. This
Until I
thing
got
was,
to the
like,
last
wrapped
one.
in, yeah.
Until I got to the last one, I was like, hey, I could just pop the cover off on top. So I flip it over, I pop the cover off, and glitter goes everywhere. Like in my hair, in my scarf, on my lap, all over my desk, my keyboard, anything that was on my desk. And I immediately think it's Heather because I work with her and she's a brat.
Heather.
So I page her and I'm like, get up here right now. So she like scurries up to my desk and she's like, what's wrong? And I was like, did you glitter bomb me? And she was like, what? No, but this is awesome. So I have glitter literally everywhere. And I think I made a Facebook status or something about it saying like, whoever glitter bombed me, touche.
Coming for you.
But I'd prefer a cheap bottle of wine because it was like $25 to do it. I looked it up and it turns out it was one of my ex-boyfriends.
Classic.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I've never gotten anything random sent to me like that before. Jeff is pushing for people to send us potatoes. I would not be mad if you send us a potato on Brew Sports. I will be more than willing to show it to you, my potato.
But you can send like
Send us a potato.
glitter, confetti.
It's like well, that was the snake thing for a long time, right? The little like snake in a can or whatever.
Yeah,
Be
so it's like that, but it's just all
check it
like,
out. It's like
there's like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the word, but male parts in a can. So then you open that and those
Right,
go
yeah.
everywhere. I don't know what
I hate
else
when
there
that
is.
happens to me. Yeah.
But there's a.
I think you can send fake poop as well too.
Yes.
Like, there is this
No,
company
real
that actually.
poop.
What, real poop?
Isn't there a company who can do real poop?
Who gives that job?
Who would do fake poop?
Well,
Whose poop do you think it is?
I don't want anybody's poop.
I'm looking it up.
I don't know. Hannah says she's been to Thanksgiving with you before, and she says girl loves mashed potatoes.
I love mashed
and
potatoes.
she includes a potato emoji. I didn't know there was a potato emoji.
Me either.
But yes, Frank Kaminsky, though, was like, well, I've never gotten a potato sent to me before, but thank you. I appreciate
Frank
that.
Kaminsky?
Not Frank. I'm sorry. Dirk Nowitzki. Nowitzki, Kaminsky.
Yeah, they sound the same.
Schmitsky, Mitsky, Ditsky there. I don't know. Kaminsky is one of the last things I want to talk about here on our opening brew segment. So, of course,
Oh, I did see that.
this bracket challenge thing is what everybody and their mother's talking about. I'm talking about it. You're talking about it. People are talking about it with their pets. Like, everybody's excited. And everybody loves to know what celebrities who their pick is. So Frank Kaminsky went and filled out a bracket challenge on ESPN.com, which you can see on the screen right now. Went through, pretty standard, making the picks. Okay, good for you. And then you get to his national championship. You're like, okay, like you got Wisconsin, maybe, but it's the predicted score, and there in the bottom right, that is really what throws me. 100-0 is what he thinks Wisconsin will beat the University of North Carolina.
Go Bucky.
Come on, Frank. Come on. Like, I know, like, Jamie's got the Badger shirt on this morning, like, woo, go Badgers kind of a thing, but, like, not happening. I think I thought it was funny, though, but I'm like, okay, Frank, you've lost your mind. He has Wisconsin, West Virginia. My English is not so good this morning. And then he has Kansas and UNC on the right side. So, to an extent, it's a semi-realistic bracket, aside from the fact that Wisconsin is not going to go that far. So, no thank you. Not happening. Bruce says, I wonder how much you get paid if you're the guy who poops in boxes. That's what I was wondering as well, too, because
Probably
I'm like,
not that much. You're not pooping, like, all day long.
that's the thing. It's like, what do you do?
3 poops a day.
You have to, like, eat a lot and then just take laxatives all day. But you don't want, like, the liquidy. I don't know. Why are we talking about poop consistency? Like, it has to be, like, a good one. You can't ship liquid poop. Like, that's awkward.
When we moved to a new house and I was like 11, these girls lit poop on fire on our front porch.
Yes, he gets $64. Maybe that's what Tony Romo was going to do with that money, Hannah. I love that idea. Thank you, Hannah. As you were saying.
These girls just lit poop on fire on our porch.
I never understood that. The whole, like, flaming bag of poop kind of thing.
I don't know, but we had, like...
we gotcha.
Yeah, and we had... our stairs had, like, that old outdoor carpet on it when we moved in. So there was a ring of burned poop on it for a while. It was my brother's fault. I think he, like, made a girl mad or something.
Girls are mean when you break up with them, aren't they? Or
They'll
when
break
you, like...
our little achy hearts.
If I'm not into you and you're not... like, what am I supposed to do? Just be
we were, like, 12, 13.
Even still, though, like, how many times do women do the most absurd things when you break up with them?
I'm a good person to break up with because I'm not crazy.
Okay.
So I don't know what these crazy poop lighting on fire girls were thinking.
The worst thing I've ever had happen is I had a girl that I broke up with, and then she decided to go to my house while I was gone, ring my doorbell, talk to my mom, and tell her all of the nastiest stuff I've ever done in my life that she apparently thought she was an expert on. And my mom was like, "You're only making yourself look worse by telling me this." So she's like, "Why are you here?" She's like, "Go away." My mom was not having it, but I love getting that phone call while I was at work, and she was like, "So such and such just stopped by the house and told me all this stuff." I was like, she's like, "She's an idiot." I'm like, "Oh, okay, never mind. Thanks, Mom." I was like, "All right, we'll talk later."
That's funny.
It was not fun, but I mean, aside from that, maybe I just have poor taste. That's why.
Maybe.
You know, my wife has never done anything mean to me, and I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
She's, like, silly, but she never, like, purposely does anything mean to me just because she can. She could probably mess with me if she wants to. I don't think she would, though. Please don't. So, yeah, that's what's brewing this morning here on the Morning Brew. Transitioning kind of out of that from poop to brackets to potatoes. If you've missed anything and you're just joining us, you've missed a lot. First 17 minutes of the show were a real adventure, let me tell you. And then also we light poop on fire as well, too. Maybe we should talk about the NFL a little bit more.
We might want to.
Might want to talk about that. The Minnesota Vikings found their running back, Latavius Murray. If you haven't heard, the Oakland Raiders not opting to re-sign the only 3-year veteran in the NFL, and now signing Latavius Murray was what the Minnesota Vikings have done to counteract no Adrian Peterson on their team anymore. So now it raises the question, that's great for Latavius Murray. Yay, woo, good for you. But nobody cares about that. Everybody wants to know now what happens to Adrian Peterson now going forward, because he obviously is not returning home now. So where do we go from here then if you're Adrian Peterson? I feel like Green Bay is still an option.
I agree. We haven't filled his what could be his position.
Yes.
And we're just letting everybody go and not making any moves. Might as well take someone that has some experience and a couple years left.
Exactly. Especially with, what's his face there, Eddie Lacy going to the Seahawks now as well, too. So the door is still very wide open because we thought maybe Lacy will go to the Vikings and then AP will come here. And then, okay, Lacy went to the Seahawks. Okay, maybe AP will stay with the Vikings. Okay, they signed Latavius Murray. It's like all these other, holes are being plugged basically, and there's still a gaping one in Green Bay where and Adrian Peterson is still floating about like, what should I do with my career?
Do you know, and maybe you don't, maybe this is a question that I'm just making up.
That's fine.
Like we all kind of know that Aaron Rodgers wanted Jared Cook to stay in Green Bay, and he obviously didn't. Has he said anything about like, hey, AP, let's get brunch and drink mimosas and talk about you coming to Green Bay?
I don't know if Rodgers is a mimosa kind of guy. He might be. He might be more of like a Bloody Mary kind of guy.
You think so?
I think so. You think he's a mimosa guy?
I think it depends on the day.
Mimosa.
It depends.
I think Aaron Rodgers does what Aaron Rodgers wants.
Yeah, he combines them both.
He does. He
Double
drinks
fist.
Bloodyosa is what I would basically call it. I'm not sure that's exactly what it's called, but that's what I would go for. No, I wish he would, because I think that would add more drama to the situation.
Right.
If he'd be like, come on to Green Bay, AP, I'll give you a little tour.
Right. Obviously, what he wants doesn't really matter anyways because he didn't get to keep Cook. But
that's right. But he did get 2 more weapons, though. If you're talking about what the sports world is, you got Lance Kendricks and you got Martellus Bennett, and you heard Aaron Rodgers at the end of the season saying, "Look, we need to reload." So he was not so subtly saying, "Ted Thompson, give me something better than what I had this year, and or just fix the damn defense.
Right. But they're saying too Martellus Bennett isn't going to be, what, he signed a 3-year contract?
Something like, I think that was about a 3-year deal.
And I've heard rumors of him only being good for the next year.
Yeah, probably.
And you might as well have just kept Eddie Lacy. I don't know.
No, I don't. Because Lacy wasn't doing anything productive, so that's the hard part to justify. Like, we should have just kept Eddie Lacy. And there wasn't really much happening with Eddie Lacy to justify.
Yeah, but sometimes you think the chemistry is worth it rather than bringing in all new guys, or do you think it doesn't matter at that point?
I don't think it matters at that point because what chemistry was there with Eddie Lacy? He was barely on the field the last 2 years.
Yeah, because he's too busy eating.
No, but there was nasty girls.
McCarthy said at one point that he would be okay with seeing Montgomery and Lacy together again for one more season.
Yeah, of course that makes life easier. Yes, Lacy knows the playbook. Lacy knows Rodgers, knows Ty, all that stuff. So sure, on paper, yes, that makes the most sense. But it was clear that Eddie Lacy, I think, mentally had moved on and was just like, you know what, Green Bay, there's not much more that I feel like you can offer me and that I can offer you. I've had a little bit of success. I've made out with all the women that I thought were cute in Milwaukee. I kind of need to move forward with my career now and go find a new battleground to eat and graze, basically, and hope for the best.
Ew.
It is nasty, but he's a nasty guy. Like, I don't like it. I'm not a fan. Really not.
I heard today, too, I don't remember what I was listening to, but they were saying that, Green Bay needs to put more money behind their players because no one wants to move here because we're basically in the middle of nowhere where it's cold and there's nothing to do and people want to live in Miami because it's Miami and Seattle because it's better than here or wherever.
I laugh at stuff like that, though, because sure, Miami's warm and Seattle's great and all that, but are they winning or being a consistent Super Bowl contender?
Right. Like, does it really matter where you live at that point?
I'd like to think not.
Like, hey, Milwaukee or Green Bay might be cold, but we also go to the playoffs all the time.
That's the hard thing, I feel like. If this is nothing against Tanner and Buffalo, but if Buffalo was the sports hub of the world, it's effing cold in Buffalo in the wintertime. But if they were winning consistently, I'd be like, yeah, I'd be persuaded to go play in Buffalo because I want to go win a championship. They got it figured out in Buffalo. Let's go to Buffalo,
right.
Kind of a thing, But obviously, if the Cowboys were doing better, or if the Dolphins or anybody in a warm state were doing better, well, then yes, obviously you want to go to those teams and you want to try to make the most of playing for them.
Well, maybe those cities are so fun. That's why their teams suck so bad. Because they have so much to do with their time, like party and sip mimosas on rooftops, that in Green Bay.
What do you do for fun in Green Bay?
Yeah,
I lived in Green Bay for 13 years.
You make snowmen and
talk about the Packers.
Drink Miller Lite.
What? Your comments remind me of something you told me a couple of days ago off air about Las Vegas because you're talking about fun cities. And we've been so anti-Vegas everything basically. You said that there was a key figure that came out in support of a franchise in the great city of Las Vegas.
Yeah, the infamous Wayne Gretzky. But I think he's also just supportive of Vegas in general because he hosts a camp there every year.
Wow.
So maybe he's just like, I don't want them to hate me because I'm here all the time anyways. So, I don't know. Wayne Gretzky, he can say whatever the heck he wants.
You just got 10 angry faces on Facebook for your shirt from Peter, apparently.
Sorry, Peter.
Peter says 10 angry faces for your shirt, Jamie. Like, I was really curious because I didn't see Peter's comment, and then I just saw, like, a flurry of angry faces fly across my screen, and I'm like, the hell's going on? And then I saw the comment. So
I didn't even know you could make more than one angry face.
You can sit here and just troll and go and be like,
really?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Well,
I just liked our own video a couple of times, so like there's a little like the emotions, not just like the like button on there. You can like there's like should be like a little bar of like face emojis. Yeah,
angry faces.
He's angry facing you up the wazoo
Come
now.
On.
Gosh, Peter, my goodness. Brew says here as well, you don't have to live here to play here. Did you know that Robin Yount never lived in Milwaukee? I actually did not know that.
He lived in Tulsa. Just kidding.
New Berlin. It's a great city. We have great fairs. Oh, now we're getting hearts from Brew and Liz. So now Peter is giving us the angry faces. Liz and Brew are coming to our rescue with the hearts. This is great. We have a virtual
Thanks, guys.
battle of the ages here between the hearts and the angry faces.
Me.
I love it. Hearts for Jamie, angry faces for Jamie. I don't get an emoji. We were talking about potatoes earlier, and then my wife threw a bunch of potato emojis in the chat just for fun because
I thought those were footballs.
I thought they were too, and then I looked closer and I'm like, those are definitely potatoes.
Any glasses?
Yeah, those definitely are potatoes, 100%. This is the Morning Brew. This is what I like this show so much about because we start talking about sports and then we go this way and then we go that way and then we come back to sports a little bit and then we go this way again. So, yes, Wayne Gretzky coming out in support. I feel like now that you've got a guy like Wayne Gretzky going to bat for Vegas as a whole, I mean, if Michael Jordan was like, you guys, Las Vegas would be a great place for an NBA team, well, the NBA would be like, well, let's get a team in Vegas. Jordan said yes. Like, I get it. When the best player all time of your sport says that he supports it, sure. But is he also making money off of something else to do with Vegas? Yes, he is. So why would you say something bad about a city that's paying you lots of money?
Right.
You know?
Wayne, I still think you're wrong.
Sit down, Wayne.
Yeah, sit down.
Would you tell that to him, to his face? Like, listen, Mr. Gretzky, you're great, but no.
Probably. No, okay, I would, but only because I think I have a humor that I can get away with that kind of stuff.
Humor.
Like I wouldn't say it and be mean. I'd be like, sit your butt down, Wayne.
Wayne.
Yeah.
I wonder if Wayne and Ken are friends.
No. Mm-mm.
No?
My dad doesn't have many friends because he's obnoxious.
Oh, shoot. Sorry, Ken.
Hannah can attest. She's watching.
Get
Hannah
it,
can
Hannah.
attest.
Peter says, sorry, didn't mean to badger you with emojis.
It's okay.
That's terrible. Did you understand the context of why he said?
Didn't mean to badger you. Yeah, got it.
Good.
Punny.
It just kind of looked like it was.
Punny.
So I just wanted to make sure you didn't miss the joke there, because I care about you. So I wanted to make sure that you were like, oh, okay. Anyway, so that's what we love to talk about. I guess I really didn't know though that Robin Yount didn't live in Milwaukee. I guess did he commute in from Chicago or how did that work? I guess that's one thing I would like to know more about personally. Jaymee, you were talking to me earlier as well, too, about some of this annoyance that is the NFL because apparently there continues to be this uprising of domestic abuse charges and just men in the NFL just not treating their girlfriends and their wives with respect. And it's just causing a lot of upheaval. And frankly, people are getting tired about it because it's like the NFL and domestic violence are almost synonymous with each other, which is not two things that you want to ever be. You never want to be associated with domestic violence, but now the NFL, the nonprofit, is officially in bed now with domestic violence, which seems to be just an absolute horror show.
I just don't understand when you are someone with such. Everyone's looking at you all the time.
Right.
Why you even put yourself in those situations. And you hear about it in the NFL so much more than any other organization. You don't really hear about it in the MLB so much or the NHL
MLS,
or
no domestic violence.
That's because no one even listens to anything about soccer.
Okay, you're done. I'm just saying, though, fine, upstanding citizens in the Major League Soccer world. You don't hear about anybody.
Yeah, they just kill people and then become a goalie again after their 7-year sentence.
That's not MLS.
Stupid.
We'll get to that.
Sorry.
Jumping the gun.
Sorry.
Domestic violence, though. What the heck is going on?
I just don't understand. It starts in college, too. And, these elite prospects, who are we talking about? Why? There we go. Michigan's cornerback. Jordan Lewis, he just has charges against him and his girlfriend, and nothing's come of it yet. No one was arrested or whatever. And I believe also in Crywolf, a lot of these cases as well. Some people do it just for the attention, for the media, blah, blah, blah. But
the guy, was getting lots and lots of money all of a sudden. How many times do you see a high draft pick and then months later, oh, he's been hit with domestic abuse charges right after he just signed a 3-year, $80 million contract.
Right. So I do believe that some of it is fake and some of it is for the publicity or the money or whatever.
Of course.
But then you should be extra super careful.
Extra super careful.
Yeah.
As opposed to just careful.
Careful.
What do you mean extra super careful?
Oh, don't hit people or grab them or whatever. I don't know.
Don't grab or hit people. That's words to live by, I guess.
I just don't understand how it's still an issue.
I don't understand either because we've talked about this before. Keep your hands to yourself. I mean, we just talked about it with Ezekiel Elliott recently. I mean, I know he just pulled a girl's shirt down, but still, it starts with that.
Right.
Ray Rice 2 years ago, cold cocked his girlfriend straight out. She was out in the elevator. She was up before she hit the floor, and then he dragged her body out of the elevator.
Yeah.
I
No,
get
okay.
it. I mean, when alcohol is involved, I get sometimes your judgment is not the greatest. Just look at Jamie's love life. Like it happens. Like it really does. I'm kidding, of course. But really, though, like when you look at what is taking place, though, with this, how many times is it to do because alcohol is involved or because because drinking and drugs is involved? Like people, very rarely do you see people in a sane state of mind just haul off and hit a woman.
Right.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah, there's usually some type of substance abuse behind it.
Yes, because in my mind, I could never, ever see myself hitting my wife for any reason unless she has a mosquito. And that also true is because she can kick my butt. And like, even like when she's got a mosquito on her, I'm just like, and I don't like ever want to. I mean, and that's what? What are you giving me the eye? You're giving me the eye.
Keep going.
Anyway, like, you know what I'm saying, though? Like, I would never hit my wife unless there was, like, a bug on her or something. Be like, okay, boom, there you go. I'm on my way, sort of a thing. But, like, that mentally it just doesn't register with me to be like, yes, I'm mad at you. Bang, sit down, shut up.
And, like, these men are big men.
Yes.
Like, they're not scrawny men that are 5'10".
Usually not.
Who wear cardigans and were homeschooled.
If only I knew who you were talking about, Jamie.
And their women are typically, their girlfriends or wives or whatever, are typically these dainty,
They are.
wags. Yeah.
Wags.
So, I don't know. I just don't understand how it even gets to that point. But
I would agree with you on that one because this is all about a character issue at the end of the day. Because don't put yourself in situations that you think you're going to ultimately end up regretting. And why does our first instinct have to be to hit?
Right.
Kind of
you're
thing.
taught when you're 2 not to hit people because it's not nice.
We don't hit little Bobby. Like, come on, we don't hit girls. We don't hit boys. Just do life.
Be nice.
Be nice. Hashtag yes. Everybody will be fine. Maxine on Facebook says she would take you down and then the fam will take their turn as well. Yes, that's my aunt. That's saying that if I would ever hit my wife, she would then kick my butt, and then the rest of my family, who apparently loves my wife more than they love me, would also kick my butt.
Yeah, because you're the abuser.
Well, yeah, I know, but I was told as well too that when I first brought my wife home to meet all of my family, they're like, yeah, if you guys ever break up, you're gonna leave the family, we're gonna keep her. I was like, what the hell? I was like, how is that even remotely fair? Cross-reference. My wife's family wasn't saying that. They were like, yeah, if you break Liz's heart, we'll never talk to you again. I'm like,
bye.
All right, so I'm screwed either way. I'm not going to have my own family, and I'm not going to have my other whatever potentially would have been in-laws as well. So I'm going to just be all by myself and go work for a nonprofit and make $9 million a year. Like,
boom. What now, Liz? Should let me beat you. Just kidding. I'm kidding. It was a joke. It was a joke.
Wow. Holy cow. A couple other comments here on Facebook just before we get really dark. Hannah says that she is the only friend that Ken has, apparently. That's
Told him.
way to go, Hannah. Hannah, you're a good friend. How do you say her last name? Aho?
Mm-hmm.
Aho? Aho? Hannah Aho? Okay, just curious. Strange 3 letters together. I was like, how do we say this name?
Maybe that's not her real last name.
Probably isn't.
It is.
Okay. If that's your real even first name, Hannah. Brew also says, going back to Robin Young, he said he had a house in Scottsdale, which is where they did their spring training. The Brewers, of course, he said he would just stay in hotels when they had home games and also while they were on away games. So he permanently resided in Scottsdale.
Why wouldn't you just get two
I feel
houses?
like it's so much easier.
Probably way more expensive to stay in a hotel. I mean, I'm sure the team paid for it, but
I'm sure, yeah. But I mean, to be like, guys, yeah, just pay for my hotel.
Yeah.
Because I'm Robin Yount, and I'm the greatest thing you'll ever happen to the Brewers franchise. Look at me. Robin out. Yount. What kind of a last name is Yount? All right, Jamie, Throwback Thursday today. You apparently have decided to just burn all bridges with me by calling me a homeschool Carnegie-wearing wife beater. So I really have nothing more to say to you today. No, we have lots of things to say today. Do we want to talk about that goalkeeper now or later?
Might as well just go for it now.
Okay, since we're on the topic of abuse and murder and women, which is a great thing to start your morning off with. Jamie, you brought the story to my attention from CNN about a goalkeeper down in Brazil. What exactly is going on here?
He was convicted. Is that what you would?
Yes.
Convicted of murdering his girlfriend. And then was supposed to be on trial sentenced for bajillion years and only sat 7.
7 years, yeah.
7. And now he's out, and now he's a goalie again. So that's great.
Yeah, so after serving 7 years in prison for killing his ex-girlfriend and feeding her to dogs.
Oh, I didn't read that part.
Yep, Brazilian goalkeeper Bruno Fernandes de Souza is controversially back in the game with a team here in Brazil.
And they signed him for 2 years.
Signed him to a 2-year deal. I'd like to think that when you look at somebody, you can kind of sense, and I feel bad profiling, but this guy looks like a murderer. He looks cocky, he looks arrogant, and he looks, unfortunately, like he would do something like this.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused on how you can kill somebody, feed them to dogs, and then only serve 7 years. You know? How's that work?
No, I agree. He did it at 25. He's now 32. And who in their right mind is like, I want that murderer on our team because he's a great guy.
I don't understand what possesses anybody.
He should never be allowed to do anything.
He should never. Yes, exactly. And they're saying he was released last month on a technicality. What is this technicality? Someone just being like, oops, we left the front door open. Well, Bruno, you got to go out now. Right. There you go. You're
Can't
a free
come
man.
back in. Once you cross the line, you're good to go.
And how desperate do you have to be? There are thousands upon thousands of people that want to play professional soccer.
Right.
This guy hasn't played soccer in years. At what point do you think, hey, I want to sign this guy? He's got some killer instincts. Whoa, come on now.
He was great 7 years ago. Hasn't touched a soccer ball in 7 years, but I bet you he'll be great. I hope he sucks.
I hope that this appeal ends up getting denied and he goes back to prison for the rest of his life. Because why in the hell do you kill somebody and then be given an opportunity to go do this again? It shouldn't happen.
And it's not like he's going back to work at a fast food restaurant or a convenience store.
7-Eleven on the corner, basically.
Right. He's going back to make some great money in a role where people look up to you, and he killed his girlfriend.
True.
Don't do that.
I agree. Yeah, it's not at all how it should happen, honestly. I feel like if you are convicted of murder, if you go to prison where you literally ended a person's life, you do not deserve to see the light of day ever again. You just don't. And the fact that you fed that person then to dogs as well, too, to even explain, it should be whatever, quadruple life in prison kind of a thing. Just no chance, no appeal, no anything. You're done, rot in prison like the dirty scum that you are. It's not at all allowed.
I agree.
And the fact that he's out now, I think you're going to see a lot of backlash. I think you're going to see opposing teams and opposing players. And the fans of the club as a whole in Brazil are like, what are we doing?
And I wouldn't want to play against him or be around him or have him in my locker room or around, if I was a man on his team, around my wife or my girlfriend.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I feel like you ostracize the hell out of him and say, do not come near me. I will literally walk on the field, play 90 minutes with you, and I will walk off because I don't want to deal with you anywhere else in my life. I'm only doing it because my team was stupid enough to sign you because I have no respect for you. So stop. Go away. Sit down.
Sit down. You and Wayne Gretzky. No, I'm just kidding.
I feel like Wayne's a little bit better than this guy.
Yeah, no.
Just going to toss that out there in case you were trying to compare the two, Wayne and Bruno or whatever the hell his name is. Going back to our conversation about domestic abuse earlier, Dave says, I believe it's how these kids/players are raised. Times have changed, no respect for people anymore. I think that's a very valid point because if I acted the way that some of these current NFL players or any professional athlete that continues to be convicted of these abuse charges, my mother would fly up from Florida tomorrow and beat me hard. And not in a oh, stop. She would be furious with me because that is not how she raised me.
Right.
Sort of a thing. It does. It stems from the parenting. And I think that's why it's so important for parents to instill the proper behaviors and to continue to still be present in your kids' lives even after they, leave the house sort of thing. Because if they think that they can hit 18 and then go frolic about the world because, everybody thinks they're the greatest things in sliced bread when it comes to playing sports, basically, be like, oh my gosh, you're the greatest. You'll be, here's millions of dollars, endorsement deals, woo, and then you feel like you can do anything you want because the media tells you that you can, basically. That's not what it is. At the end of the day, you're still your mother and father's child, so it's very confusing that we see these people acting like this because I always love to flip it around being like, well, what if this was, talking to whoever, Ezekiel Elliott or whoever, being like, well, what if this was your kid? What if you were the dad of your son doing what you're doing now? How would you react? And I'm sure a lot of them would be like, I'd be like, okay, man, they try to play it off and don't care. And I've met guys like this before, and I'm like, do you hear yourself talking? It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. I really don't. And it just bothers me that people continuously think that they can say whatever they want and do whatever they want and have no repercussions, like murder somebody and get back into the sport that they want.
Well, once everyone makes money, too, they think that they're invincible.
Which is not true.
Right.
It's really not. Coincidentally, too, you really don't ever see, and I know this doesn't happen very often, but you never really see the woman as the one that is the abuser. Very rarely. Occasionally you do.
Well, yeah, but they say that's because it's more quiet.
Yes, usually.
So...
It's not like Ronda Rousey's out, like, beating her boyfriend in. Like, sure, like, there's some strong, fierce women out there, but, like, you don't really see too often that it's the woman that's the one that's the abusive one. Because then the guys would be like, you're crazy. Like, I'm out of here. Like, I feel like if I were to get abused by my wife, I don't know how much I would say about it because, or whatever, if I had a girlfriend that was abusing me, I'd be like, okay, you're crazy. I'm getting out of here sort of thing. Like, I don't know how public I'd be about it.
Well, right.
Because I think you get embarrassed almost as a guy. I'd be like, oh my gosh, like my girlfriend was beating me. Like, I'm not much of a man.
Right, which is the whole issue with women and domestic abuse. Because I'm sure it happens way, way more than anybody knows.
I bet it does. I mean, how many times do you see, conversations where people are like, oh, she's got his balls. Like, that guy's totally, like, can't do anything. Like, you're completely at the power of your girlfriend or your woman. Like, okay, like, good luck, good knowing you, man. Like, we'll never see you again sort of thing. Like,
right.
That's hard.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, that's why no one should hit each other. But I think that's a good segue, men, women, talking about women's hockey right now.
Yeah, the Badgers. Not even the Badgers, I'm sorry.
The U.S. women's hockey team
there you go.
threatens not to play in the championship at the end of the month because of pay reasons. They're unreasonable. They aren't. The numbers that they're throwing out to the public aren't the numbers that the women are actually going to get paid, and the USA women's soccer team is kind of what led this, I don't know if you want to call it a protest, but this movement, maybe. So members of the U.S. women's national hockey team said on Wednesday that they will not participate in the IIHF World Championship beginning on March 31st, unless significant progress is made to secure what players consider fair wages and support from USA Hockey. So these women are claiming that they are only paid for the 6 months that they trained before the Olympics. USA Hockey is saying that they pay them $85,000 a year, but that's not true at all. And it's just this big mess. Even though that they've won 6 gold medals in the past 8 world championships and have medaled in every Olympics, including a gold in 1998. Like, they have, the numbers are there that these women are successful.
Yeah.
And they're obviously great hockey players and good women in the community. But yeah, I don't blame them for being upset.
How do you combat something like this then?
What do you mean?
Like, how do you figure out this wage issue?
Pay them a livable wage. $1,000 a month for someone that's training as intensively as they are is not. These women have families and husbands, and I just don't think that $1,000 a month is a livable wage. That's all I got.
Well, the reason I asked, though, is because a lot of these national team players are also, playing locally as well, too. They're playing professionally in a different league, so they're getting other money outside of that. I don't know how much money you technically need to be paid. It's not like the Harlem Globetrotters where these ladies are, this is their full-time job, is playing for their country, basically. Like, yes, I get you should be getting paid money, but I don't know why you should be getting paid millions, or not even millions, but thousands and thousands of dollars to play only for, if it is a 6 or 7 month kind of a contract like that. I get, like, yeah, you should be paid respectfully for your time, but at the same time, like, you don't need to be paid, hardcore full-time wages if you're already working another job, basically, that is taking care of your full-time pay as well. This is like an added bonus that you just get to go play for your country and also make more money on the side, too.
Yeah, but do you think that the wages that they're making in their hometowns is anywhere near the same amount as, this is going to be extremely far-fetched, but other people in the Olympics, like Sidney Crosby or Patrick Kane, like, no.
Well, that's also, in general, the issue with women's professional sports as a whole. The women are insanely underpaid.
Right.
And that's a hot topic of conversation no matter what sport it is, whether it's basketball or soccer or hockey. I mean, no, Patrick Kane makes more money in a year playing for the Blackhawks than these ladies will make probably collectively as a team internationally.
Right.
That's just, and unfortunately, the nature of the game.
And I understand that they bring in more people, and more people watch men play hockey, and I get all of that. I'm not saying these women should make $8 million a year because they don't bring in the revenue, but I think that they also have a right to be upset.
I would agree with you. I think that they do. And these ladies, especially when you are being able to provide high-quality, consistent entertainment and you are being successful at a high international level, you should be compensated for your time. The U.S. women's soccer team is a prime example of that. They've won 3 World Cups. They've won numerous gold medals at the Olympics as well, too. This is a team that consistently wins at a high level, and yet they are paid almost a fraction at times of what the men's national team is. And the women's soccer team only gets paid if they win games. They don't get paid if they lose. They only get paid if they win. So it's a little cheeky in that regards. Peter asks on Facebook, he says, should the men and women get paid because of their success or by how much money they bring into U.S. hockey? It's a very good question.
Ooh, that is a good question.
What do you think about that?
Do I think... Hold on, I want to see the question.
Do you think the men and women should get paid because of the success that they have or how much money they bring into U.S. hockey?
I mean, someone can be extremely successful and there can be no money, so there's no money to give. So I don't know how to answer that question. That's a tricky one, Peter.
Cheeky Peter.
Frown face at you.
Frown face
Hard
at
questions.
You. I think that, honestly, I mean, I can try to answer this, Peter, but I think that the U.S. sports network as a whole, Team USA as a whole has plenty of money. I don't think that there's not a shortage of money by any means. I think the money's there, and I think that there should be success bonuses in that regards. That, look, if you win a gold medal, no matter what sport it is, you should be guaranteed at least this base. Now, I get it. A gold medal in gymnastics is potentially going to be worth less and or more than a gold medal in basketball, or a World Cup for the women's is going to be maybe a little bit less than the men's World Cup because the money that is coming into that tournament, from the outside sources is going to be different. The women's World Cup is not going to make as much money as the men's World Cup. I totally get that. Women's soccer, men's soccer, millions and billions of dollars difference in terms of the revenue that gets brought in. But if your team is having success, I feel like those players should be getting compensated for what they are doing at a high level because it's not easy to go train as hard as they are training, be undefeated, win the tournaments, and then win an international title consistently. It doesn't happen very often. That's why you see, the changing of the guard so often. That's why these tournaments are every couple of years because it's not an easy thing, and it takes years of preparation to finally get there. So, yes, I think they should be paid based off of their success because I believe that there's plenty of money to go around. They are just not allocating it properly to the people that I feel like properly deserve it.
Dave on Facebook says, popularity of women's sports is not the same, not fair, but fact, if they don't want to rep their country, find someone that will. I don't think that's... They put in just as much work as everybody else going to the Olympics, whether it's man or a woman. Like, they train, I'm sure, the same amount of hours, they do the same amount of things. You can't just be like, you want to get paid more? We don't want to pay you more. You can just, we'll just take this lower tier of people and they can play soccer because that's not fair. They've worked hard their entire lives to get here. They just want to be recognized.
I agree. When you get into wages, when you get into trying to decipher what exactly the best route is for this, there's no clear answer because it's not like there is a pool of $1 billion and it's like, okay, we have $1 billion, 500 million goes to the men's, basketball team, 500 million goes to the women's basketball team. Well, what's that? The women, they got knocked out in the first round of the World Championships. Oh, the men won a gold medal. Well, okay, we're going to take away, 350 million of the women and give it to the men because they actually won a tournament instead of what the girls did because they got knocked out in the first round, kind of a thing. Like, how do you value, I guess, especially like when you win, who's to say a women's World Cup is not more important than a men's World Cup, or who's to say that a gold medal in gymnastics, is not as important as a snowboarding gold medal? Like, at what point do you start justifying where these sports are and how much being literally the best in the world at that sport is worth?
Right.
Like we can't. The United States is clearly the best at virtually every sport, for the most part, aside from a couple of different ones. I know hockey is a revolving door. Soccer is a revolving door as well, too. But aside from that, the U.S., especially come Olympics time, is usually darn good. We're usually the leader in all medals because we've got the best athletes. So why are we not sometimes paying these athletes to compensate for the fact that they are making us a international powerhouse consistently every time the Olympics happen? That worries me, because I feel like we're going to start seeing a downtrend, and then you're going to see it trickle down to the college, the high school, the Pee Wee level, where these athletes usually have to start. I mean, how many gymnasts do you hear saying, well, I started jumping on the beam when I was 2?
Right.
You know, like parents are going to start telling their kids, be like, yeah, let's not take gymnastics because the money's not there for you, because if you actually are really good, you know, like you're going to start to see like this drop off of soccer and baseball and basketball and all these other youth sports, because parents are going to be like, well, you know, it doesn't, I want my kid to have a great future, and if, you know, there's no money in what you're trying to do, maybe you should focus more on school and get a job to be a lawyer, or get a job to be a whatever sort of a thing. You know?
Makes sense.
You're not going to please everybody, no matter what side of the stance you take.
Right.
That's the honest truth about all of this, really. Really it is. So, you know, do I want women's sports to be paid more? Yes. Personally, I do, just because I have a lot of ties to the women's professional leagues as a whole, just from what I've been able to do in broadcasting, and I've met a lot of these, you know, females, and met their coaches as well too. And I'm like, they deserve it. They're playing at such a high level. But the reality of it is that we as a society look in and say, yeah, you only had 20,000 people that came to your game. Okay, well, the men had, you know, 85,000 that came to their game. So clearly they are more popular. They give us more money. We just don't care about you. Sorry. Like, better luck next year. You can't build something if you don't give it a chance, especially in female sports, where you just need to give more people an opportunity to go to these games, to interact, to show if this is actually going to be a stable thing to hopefully build and go forward. So that's my 2 cents. I'm done. I'm off.
I like your 2 cents.
Thank you. Wasn't $64 worth, but it was 2 cents at least that you got from me. All right, Jamie, Throwback Thursday, this day in the sports history, the sports world, this day in the history of all things. What's going on?
Not a whole lot.
You're right. I looked myself on this day in sports history back in 1911. Fun fact, the Stanley Cup, the Ottawa Senators beat Port Arthur 13-4. Let that game forever resonate in the depths of all sports history. In general, though, like,
yeah, that's
March 16th in history as a whole, 597 BC, the Babylonians captured Jerusalem.
ooh,
That was a big one.
yeah.
Really had some implications on Jerusalem's, cricket team that following year with the Babylonian controversy.
1876, there was the first female boxing match in New York.
Oh, my.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. What else was there? In 1079, Iran adopted the solar Hijra calendar.
Is that the one with the circle and the...
That's a sundial.
Oh. Ooh.
Good effort, though. Let's see.
Whoops.
Anybody famous born today? Let me scoop a little bit closer here. Person of interest, Jorge Ramos. He's a Mexican TV anchor. Wolfgang Van Halen, son of Eddie Van Halen. Okay, good for him. Today's kind of a crappy day for the sports and just the world as a whole. Like,
In 1985, U.S. journalist Terry Anderson was kidnapped in Beirut. He was not released until December 4th of 1991.
sad.
After 2,454 days in captivity.
Shoot.
I always wonder what happens during that time. Like,
When you're in captivity.
like are they...
Usually you're...
Like, are you just in a box? And they're like, here's some
Usually
scraps.
you're just, like, abused and you're just...
That's sad.
Choked for information.
Yeah,
and
but
all
maybe,
that,
like...
waterboarded.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe they're just like, we're just
Maybe
gonna,
there's 3 in a room and be like, we'll see you in a couple of years.
we're just gonna keep you in here. We'll feed you. We'll make
Maybe.
ourselves look like real badasses, and say we tortured you, but we didn't.
Yeah,
That's in my brain. That's what happens.
that's a good idea. That's the good, safe, PG version. You know whose birthday it is today?
No.
Flavor Flav.
Ooh, you know who that is, but
I
you
know
don't
who
know who
Flavor-
Biggie Smalls is.
Flavor Flav had an MTV show, didn't he?
He did.
So that's the only reason.
Flavor of Love.
Yeah.
He's disgusting.
He is.
Ugh.
He nasty. Trying to see. I had to go all the way to actors now to see it. Jerry Lewis was born today. Good for him.
Good for him.
He's a thing. But yeah, you kind of failed us today, sports world. I was really hoping for more excitement today. Unfortunately, back in 1939, the NHL record 10 goals in the first period between the Rangers and the New York Americans. And a combined record of 26 points in the third period as well.
10 goals in 1 period. Yikes.
That's a good way to put butts in seats. Or be like, wow, we suck.
Or your butts are getting out of your seats a lot because you're up standing and cheering.
Like, woo! I
Yeah.
see what you did there. Mm-hmm. Travis on Facebook says, going back to our issues that we were talking about with men's and women's wage discriminations, he says, I think it should be negotiated through some sort of collective bargaining agreement and be designated as a percentage of revenue. Total numbers may not be equal, but percentage of revenue can be equal.
But then can you say I think I'm going to end up backtracking. So, for example, because I work in the AHL, I know that our money that we spend is separate than the money that the Predators spend, right? So we are 10th in the league right now for attendance in our arena.
Okay.
Compared to everybody else. But I don't believe that people that are playing for Hershey, who have the highest attendance always, their players aren't making much more. It's not like, oh, they have 10,000 people at every single game, so their guys make $150,000. In Milwaukee, you guys average 6, so your players only make $6,000 or $60,000.
Sure.
I don't think that's how that works.
No, I think it's off of the league as well too. The AHL probably doesn't have the money to be throwing out. I'm sure guys aren't being paid. Correct me if I'm wrong. No one's getting paid $100,000 a year as an AHL player.
It depends on how long they've been around for.
Interesting.
But
okay.
There's a couple guys.
Okay, good. Well, good for them. I mean,
yeah.
If you can't play high level, if you can't play top tier NHL hockey and still make $100,000, good for you. You're doing something right, obviously.
Right.
Maybe that's just my ignorance about not knowing enough about the AHL pay scale. But if you're very rarely, we've even talked about that with minor league baseball as well too. If you're going to be playing double, single, or triple A baseball, you're not going to be making big league money. You're there because you love the sport. You're not there because you want to make money.
Right.
Just kind of how it boils down to.
Seems to be the sports world.
Yeah, that's really what the sports world is as a whole when it boils down to it. I think we should, what did we do last time this week? We looked back at our favorite Facebook statuses as well to check on what the world was here. Let's see if we can pull this up quickly as we get ready to finish out another interesting edition, controversial edition of the Morning Brew. I wouldn't call it controversial, would you?
No.
We just talk about some hot topics, I guess. That's the thing, though, because you guys have been so comment happy on Facebook, that makes the discussion run even more. We have these topics that we just throw out there, and we just kind of hope that it sticks in some way. And then you guys come off and give us your thoughts and opinions, which is what ultimately ends up making it that much better for us. So kudos to you guys. We appreciate it. I think you can still sign up for the March Madness Bracket Challenge as well, too, if you go to the description to the link below here. Once we're done, you guys can go ahead and check that out. I think you got some good stuff here, Jamie. What do you have?
Well, a year ago, let me go back. The Admirals announced that they were going to be moving to the Panther Arena, so that's here.
How'd that work?
Well, we play there now, so good. This is funny because I noticed that Brian's watching. Hey, Brian. I have a little time hop to you that says, Brian, I want a Jameson shirt, so I'm sure that was for work.
I'm sure.
But then as I go back, there's these really embarrassing videos that I made with my friend Brittany in her basement, so those are on here. It's to that Chicken Noodle Soup song and Soulja Boy.
Yes.
So that was 9 years ago, which is super embarrassing, and I'm assuming they're on my Facebook somewhere, because that's how I saw it. But then I also have a status from 7 years ago that says, brothers keep calling me. On Craigslist, it says I'm selling a PS3 for $125. Pretty sure it's not me, but that's my number. Someone help.
Yeah, so here's let's see. 8 years ago, I was saying I was so happy there wasn't school today. I also said, does anyone know of a place where I can have a get-together at the end of the month? My place just bailed on me, so it's okay. I'm a little bit desperate to figure that out. I said loves rehab, a.k.a. the hot tub, tongue face. Babysitting tonight. Antonio was talking up a storm, my little baby brother. A lot of statuses about going to IHOP. Loved IHOP back in the day. A couple of different things that I did about being on choir tour for my college, which was a lot of fun as well. And yeah, this is really the overall That was my life a couple years ago. Bus 2, bus woo. You guys, if any of my choir fans are watching, you understand what that means. So, fun stuff there. So
More exciting than this day in sports.
Yes, when your life is more exciting than this world in the history of all things, you know you've got a problem. All right, we have our yes drama today here as well as we get ready to put the old kibosh on another edition of the Morning Brew. Jamie, what is your yes drama of the day?
Oh, I always forget that we do this on Thursdays.
It's in the schedule.
I know. I did see, I don't know. Okay, I got nothing. Go ahead.
Jeff says happy National No Selfish Day. Or no Selfies Day.
I will be quite all right with not taking any selfies, Jeff.
Oops.
Oh, God.
Should flip my camera.
Just kidding.
There we go. Just took a selfie, Jeff.
Boom.
Sorry.
Breaking the rules.
Come at me. He said, which could also be the same, no selfish or no selfies, yes. Peter says, I think it's very difficult, it's different and difficult to compare AHL to any pro team. If you look at the Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, etc., they are able to pay higher salaries because they sell more tickets and are in more desirable markets. That is true. 100% agree with you. That's why the Milwaukee Bucks, the Brewers will never be top-tier destinations for any free agent or just budding centers of money because nobody wants to come to Milwaukee.
I heard my Uber driver yesterday told me that he was talking to someone from the Bucks, and they had said that he was like, I just don't understand why we never get like an all-star weekend here. And he was like, they were like, yeah, because we don't have enough hotels downtown. That's what your excuse is going to be? Have you seen all the things we host in Milwaukee? There's a boatload.
Well, the All-Star Week, then, that's the same reason Green Bay will never host the Super Bowl, is because there's not enough hotels.
Yeah, but Milwaukee has way more than Green Bay. Everyone that goes to Green Bay typically stays in Appleton area anyways.
Usually, yeah, which is funny to think about. There has to be a certain amount of stuff within a 100-mile radius, I think. But Chicago is less than 100 miles away, so then that always conflicts as well, too. And Milwaukee can never get a pro hockey team because of the deal that the Blackhawks signed when they first came into the NHL.
Look at you. Look at you.
I know. So if you, as a Milwaukee sports fan, are mad that we can never have a professional hockey team, hate the Blackhawks.
I'm so proud of you.
Because they're the reason we can't do that. I don't know why you would sign a contract like that. You can never have a rivalry.
We don't have a market for it anyways.
I think we do.
Not with the Wild being right there and
Imagine
Blackhawks.
the Wild, the Milwaukee whoever's, and the Blackhawks. You got like that, whatever, like the Amtrak station, like choo-choo series. No? Okay. All right, Jamie, final thoughts as we get out of here for a Thursday edition of the Morning Brew.
My final thoughts are don't beat your girlfriends or your husbands and don't kill anybody. Words from the wise. That's me.
Devin on Facebook says, no, Green Bay won't host the Super Bowl because it's usually negative 20 degrees there in February. That's also very true. Hannah says Milwaukee only holds My Little Pony conventions.
That's true. Have you seen that?
I haven't.
Oh, my gosh.
I saw like Anime Con or Anacon or Anaconda.
It was like a month or two before that. It was a My Little Pony convention.
Hey, everybody has things that they're good at in Milwaukee.
I mean, I had a My Little Pony, but I don't want to dress up like her.
Were there people dressed up as like My Little Pony?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's just terrifying.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we're going to get out of here. Remember to go and check out our website, brewsportsnet.com. You can subscribe to our podcast on iTunes as well, too, The Morning Brew, so you can hear Jamie and I all throughout the day in case you can't watch us. Of course, continue to tell your friends, like, comment, share the Brew Sports Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram as well. And, of course, the hashtag Brew Sports. She is at Jamie_Ebers. I am at Baxter Colburn. At BrewSportsNet. Thanks so much for watching The Morning Brew. Coming up next, it is Bubbler Banter with Josh Scheibe and Ryan Thies at 9 a.m. Central Time live right here on Brew Sports. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time on The Morning Brew.